Hello, this is Dan Farisi, Group Editor, Commercial and Security with Emerald. So happy to be joined today by Dan Murphy, who is Senior Vice President of Digital Products at AtlasIED. The topic of conversation is, of course, AV over IP, aligning with our AV over IP deep dive, which will be in our March issue of CI plus SSI, as well as all over the website throughout the month of March. A deep dive into AV over IP technology, the components of various AV over IP ecosystems, and why it really does seem to be on the tips of people's tongues these days. That's why we invited you, Dan. Thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate having you on here.
A pleasure to be with you today, Dan. Thank you.
So AtlasIED is, of course, very well known, very well respected. I loved catching up with the team at ISC a few weeks ago. I want to talk about AV over IP specifically, obviously, apropos with the deep dive. And I'd like to start with the GLOBALCOM ecosystem, which I think is germane here. Do you want to go into that a little bit?
Sure. The GLOBALCOM system we've used at thousands of locations around the world, including airports, education, transportation hubs, lots of different things that we've been using AV over IP for many years. As a matter of fact, it was one of the first computer-driven DSP systems ever invented back in the day. So, yes, we've had plenty of experience with AV over IP in the last quite a few years.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I think, and it's such an important category, and I think a leader like AtlasIED, who has, as you say, been involved in this space for quite a while now, is very well positioned to continue to thrive as more and more people are moving toward that AV over IP approach. The other thing I wanted to touch on, if possible, are the IP speakers, and I think that's something that's certainly relevant here as well. You want to talk a little bit about IP speakers as it relates to AtlasIED and its leadership?
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, the IP speaker line, IPX series, has been around for quite a few years, and it is really, really evolving to take more advantage of things like video. So we have some new products we'll be releasing next year, I believe, that's going to really grasp onto the essence of what we can do with a speaker in a classroom, for example, right? There's a lot of protection, notification stuff that goes into education, as everybody knows these days, unfortunately. And we're going to really jump into that in the future and get more of the census of what we can see or what we can talk to in the classroom.
One of the things that's really exciting about AtlasIED, and yeah, I'm reminded of it every time I visit your booth, whether it's at Infocom or ISC or whatever the case is how diversified you are, not just in terms of being a technology leader, but how many different verticals you have applications in. I mean, people might think of LaGuardia Airport transport hubs, but then you just mentioned, education, voice notification, things like that. You really are a very diversified kind of an organization, aren't you? Technologically speaking, vertical market speaking, application and use case speaking.
Absolutely. Any place that you need to get a notification to an employee or a student or any sort of building you think of, manufacturing, warehousing, industrial plants, any place that we need to reach out to notify humans within that facility is a perfect vertical for our product to fit into.
If people want to learn more about AtlasIED, about your AV over IP centric products, about the IP speakers, where should they go? What should they do? Should they reach out to you? Website? What's the best way to get more information, especially if you're a channel partner and you're thinking, I'd love to leverage some of the benefits I can get from AtlasIED?
Absolutely. Our website is the best place to do that. We have lots of tools there to kind of help people figure out the right pieces and parts that they need and solutions that we can provide for you. You can always go to AtlasIED.com. And there's a myriad of places you can ask questions. We have kind of a AI bot that will also help you guide you through any kind of questions, concerns, system design, whatever the contractor may need for assistance from AtlasIED. You can also reach out to me if you'd like to. It's dan.murphy@AtlasIED.com.
Well, thank you so much, Dan. Really appreciate you joining me today. Very informative. I'm excited to see the latest evolutions of GLOBALCOM, the IP speakers, and just everything that AtlasIED has in store, especially as we continue to see, as I say, the rise of AV over IP. Really appreciate you being here.
Thank you so much, Dan, and I love being with you.
Thank you so much, Dan Murphy, Senior Vice President of Digital Products at AtlasIED, for being here today. My name is Dan Farisi, Group Editor, Commercial and Security with Emerald. Once again, please check out our AV over IP deep dive in the March issue of CI plus SSI, as well as all over our website, commercialintegrator.com. Throughout the month of March, we'll have lots more thought leadership content just like this for you to check out, as well as the deep dive report itself. Until then, thank you again for tuning in, and we'll see you soon.